Beloved brothers and sisters, receive this word with attention and with hunger, because what I am about to say is not poetry. It is a spiritual law. Before anything changes in your hands, it must first be accepted in your heart. Before doors open outside, something must open inside. Many are asking God to change their world, but few are willing to examine what they have allowed to take residence in their heart. Hear me well. Life does not respond to what you say with your mouth alone. It responds to what you accept, tolerate, and believe deep within your heart. Let me begin with a question that confronts the soul. What have you been accepting in silence? Fear, discouragement, a word spoken against you years ago? Because the heart is not neutral ground. Whatever you allow to stay there will eventually grow, and whatever grows inside will one day manifest outside. The Bible tells us that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Not as he thinks occasionally, not as he hopes someday, but as he accepts in his heart. Your world today is a reflection of inner agreements you made yesterday. Many people pray for peace but accept anxiety. They pray for abundance but accept lack as normal. They pray for healing but accept sickness as their identity. And then they wonder why nothing changes. My beloved, heaven responds to faith, but faith begins with acceptance. When you accept God's truth in your heart, even before you see evidence, you activate a process that no human power can stop. The moment you accept victory internally, defeat begins to lose its authority over you. Understand this. The heart is a gate. Not everything that knocks should enter. Not every thought deserves a seat. Not every emotion deserves permission to stay. The enemy does not need to destroy you publicly if he can convince you privately. If he can place doubt in your heart, limitation in your heart, fear in your heart, your world will slowly start to reflect those inner limits. That is why guarding the heart is not advice, it is survival. But hear the good news today. In the same way your world was shaped by what you accepted unconsciously, it can be reshaped by what you choose to accept intentionally. When you accept God's promises, you give your future a new direction. When you accept that you are loved, chosen, and capable through Christ, your posture changes, your decisions change, and your environment eventually follows. The world bows to a heart that is aligned with truth. There are people listening to me now who have accepted less than what God prepared for them. You accepted being overlooked, being broken, being stuck because it became familiar. But today the Spirit of God is calling you to reject every lie and to accept a higher truth. Accept that you are not finished. Accept that this season is not your end. Accept that what God started, He is faithful to complete. The moment you accept this, strength will rise where weakness lived. Do not underestimate this principle. Relationships change when the heart changes. Health responds when the heart believes. Opportunities appear when the heart is ready to receive them. Your external world is always trying to catch up with your internal alignment. Change the agreement in your heart, and life will be forced to adjust. Heaven will back what your heart truly believes. So today, make a decision that is deeper than emotion. Decide what you will no longer accept. Reject fear, reject limitation, reject the voice that says it's too late, and open your heart to faith, to hope, to God's promises that never fail. Accept joy even before circumstances improve. Accept peace even while the storm is still loud. This is not denial. This is spiritual authority. I close by declaring this over your life. As you accept God's truth in your heart, your world will realign with His purpose. What was heavy will become light. What was closed will begin to open. What was stagnant will move again. Guard your heart. Choose wisely what lives there, because what you accept in your heart will shape the world you walk in tomorrow. Amen. What you silently accept emotionally does not stay silent for long. It speaks through your thoughts, your energy, and eventually through your body. Many people spend years trying to treat symptoms without ever addressing the emotional agreements that created them. They ask why they feel tired, anxious, or heavy, even when life seems normal. But the truth is that the heart remembers what the mind tries to ignore. Emotional acceptance is not a passive state. It is an active internal decision that programs the nervous system and shapes mental and physical health over time. From the moment a person accepts fear as normal, the body begins to adapt to survival mode. Stress hormones remain elevated, breathing becomes shallow, sleep loses depth, and the mind struggles to rest. This is not weakness. It is biology responding to emotional signals. The heart, when burdened with unresolved anxiety, sends continuous alerts to the brain, and the brain responds by keeping the body tense and defensive. Over time, this state weakens immunity, drains energy, and creates a fertile ground for chronic conditions. What was first accepted emotionally becomes expressed physically. Consider how many people say, "This is just how I am," when speaking about worry, sadness, or constant pressure. That sentence sounds harmless, but it is a powerful agreement. The body listens to identity statements more than temporary thoughts. When emotional pain is accepted as part of who someone is, the brain stops seeking resolution and begins building adaptation. Muscles tighten, digestion slows, and inflammation quietly increases. The body is not betraying the person. It is obeying the emotional instructions it receives daily. On the other hand, when peace is accepted in the heart, even before circumstances improve, the body responds with remarkable intelligence. Heart rate stabilizes, cortisol levels decrease, and mental clarity improves. This is why moments of genuine calm feel restorative even if they are brief. The body recognizes safety when the heart accepts tranquility. Faith, hope, and gratitude are not just spiritual virtues. They are emotional signals that tell the body it can release tension and begin repair. Healing does not begin in the muscles or organs. It begins when the heart changes its message. There is a dangerous misunderstanding that emotional strength means suppressing feelings. In reality, suppressed emotions do not disappear. They migrate. What is not processed emotionally often manifests physically as fatigue, headaches, digestive issues, or unexplained pain. The heart carries unspoken grief, unresolved anger, and silent disappointment, and the body eventually translates these burdens into physical language. Health suffers not because emotions exist, but because they are accepted without being healed. When a person accepts hopelessness, the mind loses its natural motivation to care for the body. Nutrition becomes inconsistent, movement feels heavy, and rest feels undeserved. Emotional acceptance shapes behavior before logic has a chance to intervene. The body follows the lead of the heart. If the heart believes life is a constant battle, the body prepares for war. If the heart believes life is safe and meaningful, the body shifts into growth and recovery. One of the most powerful shifts occurs when a person stops accepting emotional pain as permanent. The moment someone decides, "This feeling does not define me," the nervous system begins to change. Neural pathways adapt to new emotional patterns. The brain becomes more flexible, more hopeful, and more responsive to positive stimuli. Emotional acceptance is not about denying reality. It is about choosing which emotions are allowed to stay long enough to shape health. Science increasingly confirms what wisdom has taught for centuries. Emotional well-being is inseparable from physical health. Chronic stress is linked to heart disease, depression weakens immune response, and long-term anxiety affects hormonal balance. But the root is not stress itself. It is the acceptance of stress as unavoidable and unchangeable. When the heart accepts faith, trust, and emotional safety, the body receives permission to heal. There are people who exercise regularly, eat well, and still feel unwell because their hearts are carrying emotional weight they never questioned. The body can be disciplined, but if the heart is constantly under pressure, health remains fragile. Emotional acceptance acts like a hidden environment inside the body. A toxic emotional environment slowly damages health, while a peaceful emotional environment strengthens resilience. The heart is not weak, it is influential. Every emotion accepted there sends instructions to cells, hormones, and systems. Accepting joy improves energy. Accepting gratitude enhances mental clarity. Accepting self-worth improves posture, breathing, and confidence. These are not abstract ideas. They are measurable physiological responses. The body thrives when the heart aligns with life-giving emotions. What makes this truth even more powerful is that emotional acceptance is a choice that can be renewed daily. A person may not control every circumstance, but they can choose what they emotionally agree with. Choosing not to accept fear does not mean fear disappears instantly, but it means fear loses authority. Choosing peace does not remove challenges, but it changes how the body responds to them. When emotional acceptance shifts, the body follows with obedience. Sleep deepens, focus improves, recovery accelerates. The immune system strengthens not because of medication alone, but because the internal environment has changed. The heart becomes a place of alignment rather than conflict, and the body responds with balance. This is why guarding emotional acceptance is essential for mental and physical health. What you accept repeatedly becomes your normal. What becomes normal shapes your biology. And what shapes your biology defines how you live, how you age, and how you recover. Change what the heart accepts, and health will begin to follow in ways that no external effort alone can achieve. Every habit a person practices daily was first born as a belief in the heart. Long before a routine becomes visible, a conviction takes root internally and begins to guide behavior quietly but consistently. People often think their health habits are driven by willpower or discipline alone, yet the deepest driver is what the heart believes about worth, possibility, and identity. The body follows the instructions of belief far more faithfully than the commands of logic. When someone believes in their heart that they are weak, tired, or destined to struggle, that belief subtly influences how they treat their body. They may skip movement because effort feels pointless, choose unhealthy food because care feels undeserved, or neglect rest because exhaustion has become familiar. These choices are not laziness, they are obedience to an internal narrative. The heart shapes behavior by setting expectations, and the body fulfills those expectations through action. On the other side, when the heart accepts strength, value, and hope, healthy behaviors become natural expressions rather than forced obligations. A person who believes their body is valuable will nourish it. A person who believes their future matters will protect their energy. The same environment, the same schedule, the same challenges can produce radically different habits depending on what the heart has accepted as truth. Belief does not just influence motivation, it programs consistency. Many people start health routines with enthusiasm, but abandon them quickly, not because the routine is wrong, but because the belief supporting it is weak. A heart that secretly believes this won't last or I always fail will eventually pull behavior back to familiar patterns. The body is loyal to belief. Until the heart accepts a new identity, habits remain temporary. Sustainable health is not built by intensity. It is built by inner alignment. Heart-based beliefs also determine how a person responds to setbacks. When the heart believes growth is possible, failure becomes feedback rather than defeat. Missed workouts, unhealthy meals, or periods of low energy do not trigger self-criticism. They trigger adjustment. But when the heart accepts shame or unworthiness, one small mistake becomes an excuse to abandon the entire effort. Health behaviors collapse not from failure itself, but from the meaning the heart assigns to failure. There is a powerful connection between belief and routine that operates below conscious awareness. A heart that believes I deserve care naturally prioritizes sleep, hydration, and recovery. A heart that believes I must always push ignores pain signals and lives in chronic exhaustion. Over time, these beliefs harden into habits that feel automatic. What feels automatic, however, was once chosen internally. The heart also shapes how people relate to time and patience in their health journey. When the heart believes results must be immediate to be valid, inconsistency follows. Short-term motivation replaces long-term discipline. But when the heart accepts growth as a process, small daily actions gain value. Consistency becomes easier because the heart is not demanding instant proof. This belief protects people from burnout and creates sustainable rhythms. Social behavior around health is also shaped by heart-based beliefs. A person who believes they are confident and grounded will not feel threatened by others' progress. They will not compare, rush, or sabotage themselves. A person who accepts insecurity in the heart may follow trends blindly, overtrain, or adopt extreme habits seeking validation. The heart sets the emotional tone that determines whether health behaviors are balanced or excessive. Nutrition choices offer a clear example of this principle. When the heart accepts scarcity or guilt, food becomes emotional compensation or punishment. Eating becomes reactive rather than intentional. But when the heart accepts balance and self-respect, food becomes nourishment rather than escape. The same food can be consumed with stress or with peace, and the body responds differently to each emotional context. Movement follows the same pattern. Exercise driven by self-hatred creates tension, injury, and exhaustion. Exercise driven by respect and belief in growth creates energy and resilience. The heart decides whether movement is punishment or partnership. That decision determines whether the habit strengthens the body or drains it. Even rest is shaped by belief. Many people struggle to rest not because they lack time, but because their heart believes rest must be earned. This belief leads to chronic fatigue and weak recovery. When the heart accepts rest as necessary and valuable, valuable, the body repairs more efficiently, focus improves, and emotional stability increases. Rest becomes a strategic behavior rather than a guilty pleasure. One of the most important shifts in health occurs when a person replaces performance-based belief with identity-based belief. Instead of believing, I am healthy when I do everything right, the heart accepts I care for my health because it matters. This subtle change removes pressure and increases consistency. Habits no longer depend on mood, they flow from identity. When the heart changes its beliefs, habits begin to reorganize naturally. Choices feel less forced. Resistance decreases. The body responds with cooperation rather than rebellion. Health behaviors stop being a battle and start becoming an expression of alignment. The world sees habits, but heaven sees the heart. Change the belief, and behavior will follow. Strengthen the inner agreement, and the outer routine will stabilize. What the heart accepts today quietly scripts the habits of tomorrow, shaping not only how a person lives, but how long and how well they live. Inner peace is not an emotional luxury reserved for calm seasons. It is a biological necessity that determines how the body heals, recovers, and endures over time. Many people pursue health through effort alone, yet remain exhausted, inflamed, and unbalanced because their inner environment is hostile. The body may be strong, disciplined, and active, but without peace within, recovery becomes slow and longevity fragile. The body does not heal best in pressure. It heals best in safety, and safety is first felt in the heart. And when the heart lives in constant alert, the body interprets life as a continuous threat. Stress hormones remain elevated, digestion is compromised, and cellular repair is delayed. This state is useful in short bursts, but destructive when sustained. Inner conflict keeps the nervous system in survival mode, preventing the body from entering the deep restorative states required for healing. Many people wonder why their energy never fully returns, why injuries linger, or why sleep feels unrefreshing, unaware that the absence of inner peace is blocking the body's natural recovery mechanisms. Peace creates permission. When the heart accepts calm and trust, the nervous system shifts from defense to restoration. Breathing deepens, circulation improves, and muscles release stored tension. Blood flow redirects from survival functions to repair processes. This is when healing accelerates. The body is not fighting itself, it is cooperating with itself. Inner peace is the signal that tells the body it is safe to rebuild. Recovery is not just about rest, it is about the quality of rest. A person can sleep for hours and still wake up tired if the heart remains burdened with worry or unresolved pressure. Inner peace quiets mental noise and allows the brain to enter deeper sleep cycles where hormonal balance is restored and tissues regenerate. This is why people often feel more refreshed after a peaceful night with fewer hours than after a long night filled with tension. The body recovers according to emotional safety, not just time. Healing follows the same principle. The immune system functions optimally when the heart is calm. Chronic stress suppresses immune response, while peace enhances the body's ability to defend and repair itself. In a peaceful inner state, inflammation decreases, pain perception softens, and the body becomes more responsive to treatment and lifestyle changes. Peace does not replace medical care, but it amplifies its effectiveness by creating a supportive internal environment. Longevity is also deeply connected to inner peace. A life lived in constant emotional struggle ages the body faster. Telomere length, cardiovascular health, and cognitive function are all influenced by long-term stress levels. Inner peace slows this process by reducing wear on systems that were never designed to operate under permanent pressure. A peaceful heart conserves energy, protects organs, and supports long-term vitality. One of the greatest misconceptions is that peace comes after problems are solved. In reality, peace often comes first and allows problems to be addressed more effectively. When the heart is calm, decisions improve, habits stabilize, and resilience increases. The body responds to this stability with better recovery and greater endurance. Peace is not the absence of challenge, it is the presence of trust during challenge. Inner peace also improves emotional regulation, which directly affects physical health. A peaceful heart responds rather than reacts. This reduces sudden spikes in blood pressure, muscle tension, and stress-related inflammation. Over time, this emotional steadiness protects the heart, the brain, and the endocrine system. The body thrives in predictability and rhythm, and inner peace creates both. Many people unknowingly sabotage their healing by carrying guilt, resentment, or fear in their hearts. These emotions create internal resistance that slows recovery. Forgiveness, acceptance, and faith are not only spiritual acts, they are physiological resets. When emotional burdens are released, the body often responds with relief that feels immediate and tangible. Peace clears the pathways through which healing flows. Inner peace also strengthens the mind-body connection. When the heart is calm, awareness increases. People become more attentive to their body's signals, adjusting behavior before imbalance becomes illness. This awareness supports preventive care, which is essential for longevity. Peace creates presence, and presence creates wisdom in health choices. Even aging is experienced differently through the lens of inner peace. A peaceful heart accepts change without fear, reducing emotional resistance that often manifests as physical tension and decline. The body remains more adaptable, more flexible, and more resilient. Longevity is not only about adding years to life, but life to years, and inner peace is central to that quality. What makes inner peace so powerful is that it can exist even when circumstances are imperfect. It is cultivated through trust, faith, and emotional alignment rather than control. When the heart chooses peace, the body receives a constant signal of safety. That signal influences every system, every cell, and every cycle of recovery. The body was designed to heal, but it requires the right internal climate. Inner peace provides that climate. It allows the body to rest deeply, repair efficiently, and endure gracefully. When peace becomes a daily inner state rather than an occasional moment, recovery becomes faster, healing becomes deeper, and longevity becomes a natural outcome rather than a struggle. Inner peace is one of the most underestimated forces in human health, yet it quietly governs how the body recovers, heals, and sustains life over time. Many people chase strength, medication, supplements, and routines, but ignore the internal atmosphere in which all healing must take place. The body is not a machine that repairs itself under pressure. It is a living system that responds to safety. Inner peace is the signal of safety, and without it, recovery becomes slow, healing becomes incomplete, and longevity is constantly compromised. When the heart is restless, the body remains on alert. Even in moments of physical rest, the nervous system continues to behave as if danger is near. Stress hormones circulate longer than necessary, muscles remain subtly tense, and the brain struggles to disengage from vigilance. This state quietly drains energy reserves and delays tissue repair. People often describe this as feeling tired even after rest, or healed, but not restored. The body has survived, but it has not recovered. Inner peace is what allows the body to move from survival into regeneration. Recovery is deeply connected to how safe the body feels internally. After illness, injury, or emotional strain, the body requires calm signals to activate repair mechanisms. When peace is present in the heart, breathing becomes slower and deeper, heart rhythms stabilize, and blood flow supports healing rather than defense. This physiological shift is not symbolic, it is measurable. Cells repair faster, inflammation reduces, and hormonal balance begins to normalize. The heart's emotional state quietly directs the body's healing speed.